Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Crystal, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about foods and nutrients that are super great to be eating when you have your period. Now there are so many foods out there that can help support your period, and the foods I'm going to be talking about in this video are just suggestions. I'm by no means saying that you should only eat these foods. These foods are just suggestions, and a lot of them are like really easy to incorporate into meals that you're probably already making and already enjoy having when you have your period. The biggest thing to remember when you have your period, and just in general, is to just like nourish your body as best you can. Eat fresh whole foods, but also enjoy some things that bring you comfort, you know? If you have like a certain meal that's maybe like not the healthiest, but you enjoy having it on your period, like you deserve that, you know? I'm not here to tell you what you should and shouldn't eat. I'm just here to offer suggestions on foods that are really nutrient dense that you can add into your meals and your diet that will help support things like your iron levels and support your micronutrient levels and all of that kind of stuff. So the first group of foods I want to talk about that are like really important to make sure that you're eating not only all cycle long, but especially when you are menstruating, is iron-rich foods. Iron is so important for us. It does so much for our bodies. And so when you're menstruating, you're losing menstrual fluid. And part of that is going to be losing iron. And so you want to make sure that you're like building your iron stores up. And a way to do that is to incorporate iron-rich foods into your meals. And it's really easy to do that. It sounds really hard. It sounds like, oh my goodness, I have to have like a bunch of different things, but you don't. Like there's a lot of iron-rich foods out there that are like really easy to add to your meals that you're probably already making. Another reason why you want to make sure that you are like eating iron-rich foods every day, and especially when you have your period, is that if you are low in iron, it can actually make your periods heavier, which can then make you have lower iron levels. Iron is also really important for mood regulation as well as thyroid health. So it's just a really important nutrient, and there's lots of plant foods that have iron in them. You know, soy is like a huge food that has lots of iron in it. Lentils have lots of iron in them. Basically like all legumes and pulses have like so much iron in them. They're super great, as well as whole grains. Whole grains have iron in them. Dark leafy greens also have a lot of iron in them. And in order to like make sure that you're getting a lot of iron and stuff, I definitely recommend sauteing them or having them like steamed, because if you cook greens, it just makes the nutrients like iron more bioavailable. So dark leafy greens, amazing for iron. And nuts and seeds also have iron in them as well. And to ensure you're having good absorption of iron, you want to make sure that you're eating iron-rich foods with vitamin C-rich foods. So a really easy way to do that is to make sure that you're incorporating fresh bell pepper with your meals, and you can just like have that on the side, or you can like chop it up and put it on top. Broccoli is also really good, although if you cook broccoli, you can degrade the vitamin C level in it. So that's just something important to note. Although if you microwave broccoli, which you can totally like microwave steam vegetables, I don't know if you knew that, but that will actually retain more vitamin C. So other things that have vitamin C in them would be like citrus fruits and berries, and a lot of other fresh vegetables as well as fruits. So as long as you're adding like a fresh vegetable or a fresh maybe fruit to your meals, you're gonna be getting like a good amount of vitamin C. And I actually like love adding like orange segments to my meals, or like putting some fresh berries on top. Like it sounds kind of weird to like add fruit to like savory meals, but it's super delicious, and it's a really great way of adding vitamin C to your meals so you can boost your iron absorption. Other foods that can boost iron absorption are actually beta-carotene rich foods. So beta-carotene rich foods are things like carrots and sweet potatoes. So if you're having iron rich foods and you want to boost the iron, you can also incorporate like carrots or sweet potatoes or other beta-carotene rich foods into your meals to help increase iron, which is really cool, and not a lot of people talk about that. And I learned that like a few months ago, and I was like, mind blown. I had no idea. So that's another tip. Of course, there's always the option of supplementation. If you have like really low iron levels, I mean, always talk to your doctor about iron supplementation. Some people notice that if they increase their vitamin C intake, that actually really helps iron absorption. So if they take like a vitamin C supplement, that can also help. Again, these are just things you can talk to your doctor about to see if they're right for you. But I never want you to think that you know, if you have to take a supplement that's like bad or anything like that. Supplements are out there for a reason. So other foods that you can focus on when you have your period are micronutrient dense foods. So in this case, when I talk about micronutrient dense foods, I mean foods that are rich in like iodine, because iodine is super, super important, as well as foods that are rich in like zinc and like selenium. These are just all like really important micronutrients, and plant foods are like pretty abundant in these nutrients. Certain plant foods like seaweeds are super high in iodine, so things like nori and dulse are really great. And the great thing about seaweeds, you can just like sprinkle them on top of your food. You don't have to just be like eating sheets and sheets of them, although you can, because a lot of people enjoy eating nori sheets as a snack. There are also foods that are rich in zinc, which would be like nuts and seeds, like tempeh, lots of other foods like oats I think have some zinc in them as well. And then for selenium, like Brazil nuts, you know, all of these foods are just super easy to add to pre-existing meals. And Brazil nuts, I mean, you can just have those as a snack. But all three of those micronutrients are really important, because when you're losing menstrual blood, it's just really important to make sure that you're just like replenishing things that you might possibly be losing. These are just things to be conscious of. You don't have to like drastically change the way you eat. Like I said, you can just add a lot of these foods into your meals and it just boosts the nutrition of them. You know, nuts and seeds are incredibly high in micronutrients. They also have like a little bit of iron in them, and they're like a source of healthy fats. And they're also super easy to just add to your meals. Same with adding like tofu or black beans or lentils to like a meal that you're having that has like a lot of iron in it. So you can add those in, and then having like sauteed greens. These are all tips that you can carry throughout your cycle. It's not just when you have your period you should be eating these foods, right? You should be having these foods all cycle long. But when you are menstruating and losing menstrual fluid, it's just like kind of extra important to be mindful of these nutrients. Although your body is smart, it's got your back, it'll take care of you, but sometimes it's kind of nice to make sure you're supporting it too. But other things that are really great are like ginger. Ginger is really amazing. Even having ginger a few days before your period can like really help with cramping. And so you can add ginger to meals, you can add ginger to tea. You can even take ginger capsules if you wanted to. If you're really struggling with painful periods, that actually might be a really nice option. But ginger is an anti-inflammatory, and it's like so fantastic to have when you are menstruating. So ginger tea is like a favorite of mine to have. Another favorite is raspberry leaf tea. I love having that a few days before my period and during my period. I swear it really, really helps with cramping and stuff like that. Another tea that I really like to have is nettle tea, because nettle tea is actually high in iron and it seems to be like really nourishing. And so those are just like 3 little things. That's 6, but those are just 3 little things that I wanted to just put out there. You don't have to like focus on those, but those are just like supportive things that you can add into your, you know, daily life that might make a little bit of a difference when you have your period, especially with like period pain. It's just amazing how helpful food can be to help us with period problems and period symptoms. It's incredible. Now, if you feel like really overwhelmed when you have your period and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to cook when I have my period, I really encourage you to think about food prepping or like batch cooking and freezing them for when you have your period. And it's actually a really, really great way of making your period just like a little bit easier, because you'll have these meals that are prepped and ready to go that are like super healthy, and that's what you can eat when you have your period. So you're kind of like setting yourself up for success. So if you meal prep and batch cook whenever you feel called to, then you can make these like iron-rich, really nutrient-dense meals and have them in the freezer ready for when you do have your period, so you don't have to worry about it. So I hope you learned something in this video. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. As always, your cycle matters so much and I'm here for you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!